Okay, Greg Thompson, the Accelerate Business Coach, Action Coach here, and talking today to Alex Mortenson with Uptown Garage Brewing Company. Alex, thanks for giving us a few moments here today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So let's talk with telling people about Uptown Garage Brewing Company.
Sure. So Uptown Garage Brewing Company, we've been in the Uptown Ankeny district for a little over 2 years now. We opened in, August of 2019. So just about a half a year before COVID hit. So we are an Iowa craft beer focused tap room. So we've got 36 lines of craft beer, all Iowa beers. We've recently started adding some of our own contributions to that lineup. But we've got, beer from breweries all across the state, central Iowa out to the Four Corners. On top of that, we do have a lot of other options as far as national craft beer, domestic. You can come and get a Busch Light. We've got wine, canned cocktails, all kinds of options. One of my biggest goals when we opened the place was to create kind of an environment of inclusivity. And so we have almost a dozen non-alcoholic craft beers. We have half a dozen truly gluten-free beer options, as well as gluten-free cocktails and seltzers and ciders. And so there really isn't much room for somebody to come in and say, well, I can't find anything. There's a little bit of something for everybody. And so that's, I'm really proud of that. That's been something that we, really strive for. The building itself was originally built in 1930, and it was an old Ford showroom and service center. And so it was that way for many years. And then over time, in the mid 60s, 70s, that sort of thing, it was a few other things, but then it ended up becoming a body shop for several decades there as well. And it was that up until we took it over, it was Miller Auto. And if you come in, you can still see the old Miller Auto sign hanging in the tap room. We wanted to kind of honor that history. So there's a lot of automotive history, which is where the name Uptown Garage came from. And so it's got a very laid back, rustic feel. We want it to just kind of feel like you're hanging out in your buddy's garage. Maybe you just got done working on a car and you're going to have some beers. So that's just kind of the environment we're trying to cultivate.
Very cool. So tell us what separates. Why should I be interested in your beers and brewing company versus the other options that I have out there? What separates you out? You just said a little bit about you have some non-alcoholic and some gluten-free. Tell us about why I should come to your establishment versus somebody else's craft brew shop.
Yeah, number of different reasons. We love working with all the different breweries in Iowa and collaborating. This business is all about connections. And so we're all about lifting each other up. And that's kind of been a major focus of mine, is showcasing all the great beer that's coming out of Iowa. There's some phenomenal breweries across the nation, but we are competing and exceeding those expectations here in Iowa. And I want to celebrate that. We also are, starting to offer some of our own options to that. We've got a really great hazy IPA that we've launched, and we're looking at coming out with some good darker seasonal beers. So be on the lookout for those. But on top of that, what sets us apart is the constantly revolving tap list. So you're always going to find something new every time you come in. I am flush with options when it comes to the great beer that Iowa has. So there's always something new going on. On top of that, we're a really family-friendly establishment. We've even got kind of a dedicated kids area that has some toys and a TV with some kid shows. And so it kind of sets that apart, where families can come in and they can, set up over there and, let their kids play while they hang out and catch up with friends, where maybe they might not normally be able to do that because they'd have to spend, $80 on a babysitter or something like that. We've got a lot of different great activities. So Tuesday nights bingo, and that's another great family-friendly event that we have that's growing really well. We've just started a Wednesday night trivia. We've got a Thursday night bags league, live music on Fridays and Saturdays, and then we're launching a few other really cool initiatives. We're just next week, we're launching a puzzle league, which will be like a competitive puzzle building league. So that'll be a lot of fun too. So there's always just something to do at the garage.
Oh, very, So that's the name. The garage is kind of the going name. That's
Yeah, kind of
okay.
the colloquial term.
Yeah,
So
very cool. Very cool. So obviously 21 versus 20. A lot of things you guys, you said you're open for 6 months or so before the COVID hit, and then we kind of all know about 20. So compare 21 to 20. How are things doing coming out of the COVID? What are some things maybe that you had to implement in 20 that you're carrying over into 21? Give us a comparison of doing business in 21 versus 20.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt 20 was rough, and I know kind of when that first hit, and we all thought, oh, it'll be just a couple weeks, we'll open back up again, and that certainly wasn't the case. But we sort of shifted into a mindset, into a mentality of we just have to survive. We have to make it through this whole ordeal and come out on the other side. And I'm very proud to say that we did that. We implemented a number of different procedures. The cleanliness, the wiping down of all the high touch surfaces and spacing of tables. And we were really fortunate because we've got a 5,000 square foot tap room. So there's a lot of space. And so we were able to, leverage that and still be able to have a decent number of people in there, even at the half capacity, even with the 6 foot or more social distancing. We switched to paperless, contactless menus, that sort of thing. I really took it seriously, and it was great because the Ankeny community was really receptive to that, and they noticed that. There's a lot of Facebook groups out there, and a lot of people want to voice their opinions on things, and I'm really proud to say that I am not aware of a single negative review that came out of that. It was all positive. We love going to the garage, we feel safe there, we feel like they're taking it seriously, and so I think that really helps set, as another thing that would help set us apart. But with that, maintaining the QR code menus, that has been a huge one for us. I mean, number one, just saving paper on printing menus, because we rotate beers so much. We were printing them every other day. And in a tap room that big, it's, over 100 menus. So that's been, if nothing else, just a weight off of my plate. So, but yeah, just carrying a lot of that forward, and really just, I think overall kind of that, awareness, that mental consciousness of, how we're handling the business overall. I think we definitely grew, and it brought our team a lot closer together as well. So as far as business goes, I'm really excited and proud to say that the Ankeny community, they're phenomenal people, and they've really they rallied behind us during COVID. And when we were doing carry out sales only, we had some wonderful people that were every week coming in and getting some stuff to go and that sort of thing. And we've just seen that build, and people have been excited to, as we opened back up. And yeah, it's pretty fantastic to see the support that we've had. And I definitely can't express, enough how much I appreciate it.
Oh, very good. So let's talk about a big challenge right now. I know, especially in your industry or in the hospitality industry, but really in all businesses, about building a team, recruiting, that type of stuff. How are you doing on that? Is there anything that's working for you? Maybe you don't want to give out any trade secrets, maybe, but
No,
how are you winning the battle? How's it going on building a team?
It's going well. I won't lie. There was definitely a couple of months there where it was difficult to find people, and we've got a great team. We have several people with us that have been there since the very beginning. My taproom manager included, and they've done a great job of stepping up and covering during those times where we were short staffed. But we have been able to push through that and get some great team members, some really amazing new motivated people who've joined us recently. And I'm really excited to see them grow on the team as well. I think that a big part of it, I don't know that it's a trade secret by any means, but I think a big part of it is just the culture that we've created there. It very much is obviously everybody's there to work, but we also want to have a little bit of fun too, so I think that just by supporting each other and just kind of creating this accepting culture, it's really helped retain people and helped us build a really solid team.
Very good. there's a saying out there that smart people learn from their mistakes, wise people learn from other people's mistakes. Is there any in your 2 years plus of having the business, of having the garage, is there any words of wisdom, learnings that you could pass on to people so maybe they could learn from your past experiences versus not having to go through it themselves?
Oh yeah. You know, there's not enough time here for me to talk about the mistakes I've made, I'm sure. So, you know, I think the biggest thing that, you know, has helped drive us to success is just being open and willing to listen to people's ideas, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, having those different eyes to look at things from different perspectives is really huge. You know, really just leveraging the insight and the wisdom of the team. You know, I'm not in there pouring beers and talking to customers every single night, but I've got bartenders that are, and so they're kind of the eyes and the ears of what's really going on. And so just being open and listening to those people who are really in there doing it. That's been the biggest thing for me.
That's great advice. Very good. Good job. So let's tell everybody where you're located, the hours, how do they find you? How do they check out what beers you have on tap, that kind of stuff. Tell them how to get a hold of you.
So we are in Ankeny. We're in the Uptown district, which is actually the old downtown. So it's 305 Southwest Walnut. You can find us on, you know, all the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. We have a website. One of the best ways that you can keep your finger on the pulse of what we're doing as far as our tap lineup is to subscribe to us on an app called Untapped. And that is sort of like a beer diary that lets you log a drink. Any beer you have, you can log it, you can rate it, you can write a description. I always used it as kind of a, hey, I had this beer 6 months ago. Did I like it or didn't I? Oh, I gave it 4.5 stars out of 5. Well, I'll have another, you know, and so, but what that does is if you subscribe to us as a venue, you can set it so that you'll get a notification every time we tap something new. And, you know, a lot of times we get some really limited rare stuff that, you know, we've only got one skinny sixtel keg, and when it's gone, it's gone. And so, you know, it's not uncommon for something to get tapped and, you know, on a Monday, and you come in on a Thursday and it's like, oh, sorry, man, that's been gone for a day and a half now. So that'd be my best advice, is subscribe to us on Untapped. Obviously, like us on Facebook and Instagram. That's where you're going to get all of our events. You know, we're really pushing to have new stuff going on all the time. And we're also really active with the Uptown Ankeny community. I'm on the board for the Uptown Association. And so we're really pushing to make that whole area just a thriving place for families to go and for all of our businesses to collaborate. So definitely check out the Ankeny Uptown Association as well.
Well, it sounds like with all the stuff you got going on, people need to really be paying attention or they might miss something. So
Definitely.
Okay. Any last minute words, anything else you would like to tell the people about the garage or your operation or anything before we sign off here today?
You know, I would say if you haven't checked us out yet, you know, we hear that all the time. People stop by, and we've got kind of an unassuming front. We've just got a little blue door and a sign outside, and you come in and you see this giant, you know, kind of beer hall style tap room. And so we get that all the time where people say, oh, I didn't even know this was here. So come and check us out. You know, and I'm sure you'll love it. We would love to have you.
Oh, very good. So I've been talking to Alex Mortenson from the Uptown Garage Brewing Company, or known as the Garage in Ankeny. So Alex, thank you for your time today. I appreciate it very much.
Thanks for having me.